Hi guys, I hope you're all keeping well and safe. Welcome to Early Years Matters TV. On this channel, we focus on everything early childhood related. And if these are the kind of videos you're looking for, what you have to do, subscribe. And not just subscribe, turn on that notification bell so that whenever a new video is being dropped on this channel, the first person to be notified. Today is going to be all about inclusion in the early childhood classroom. Yes, today's discussion is going to be all about inclusion in the early childhood classroom. You might be wondering, what is inclusion in the early childhood classroom? Don't go anywhere. I'm going to explain what this is all about. So what is inclusion in the early childhood classroom? Inclusion in the early childhood classroom means all the children in the classroom have equal access, irrespective of their gender, their ethnicity, their background, their religion, their learning style. So inclusion in the early childhood classroom means all children in the classroom, irrespective of their background, their religion, their gender, their learning style, have equal access to educational opportunities in a learning environment where they feel valued, safe, and respected. Yes, this is what inclusion in the early childhood classroom is all about. Yes, I know it's a lot, but let me just simply break it down. So inclusion in the early childhood classroom simply means that all the children in the early childhood classroom, they have equal access to learning opportunities in the classroom, and also means that all the children in the classroom, they feel safe, they feel valued and respected. Yes, this is a lot. Can you now see that as an early childhood educator, you really have a lot of role to play in ensuring inclusion in your early childhood classroom, because it has to do with a lot. So for instance, if you have 10 children in your early childhood classroom, relation to inclusion, it simply means that you're considering all those children. You're considering the 10 children in your early childhood classroom. You're taking into consideration their learning styles, their abilities, their needs, their background, their gender, their religion. So can you see that it has to do with a lot? And this have implication for your early childhood curriculum. Yes, it does. Because for instance, you have to take into consideration the learning style of the children. So for instance, if some of the children are visual learner, they learn through listening. So can you see that you have to facilitate this in your early childhood classroom? You have to facilitate this in your early childhood curriculum. So if you have some of the children that they are visual learners, they like to see things. So this has implication for your preschool classroom as well. So you're also taking into consideration the background of these children, where they are coming from, their religion, their gender, their abilities, their strength. So all of this has implication for your early childhood curriculum. So this is where observation comes in. As you know, observation is the key in early childhood. So you're observing the children, you're finding out about all those things through observations. You're also talking to the parents as well. As you know, parents are the primary caregiver. They know their children best. You're talking to the parents about the children in terms of their styles, their abilities, their skills, their gender, their religion, where they're able to do. So you take all of this into consideration. And so what? This is telling you something. And take this into your consideration when you're planning for children play, which is important. This is what inclusion in the early childhood classroom is all about. In relation to inclusion, let's also look at it in terms of accessibility as well. Yes, so giving the children the opportunity to be able to access the learning environment. This is also important as well. The room layout, how do you position the materials, the resources? Can the children easily reach out for them? Are they going to be needing your help? Are they going to that early childhood? You want the children to explore. You want them to be able to do things on their own, which is going to help in terms of their self-esteem, their self-confidence. So this is where accessibility comes in. The room layout, where you're going to position the resources, the materials, that the children can easily reach out for them, that they're not going to be struggling. So you're taking into consideration all of this. You're taking into consideration the children's ability as well. So for instance, maybe you have to adapt the activity to suit the needs of one of the child in your classroom. So this is where inclusion comes in as well. You're thinking ahead. You don't want the child to be left on their own, not doing a different activity that the other children might sense what's going on. Why is she doing something else? So this is where inclusion comes in as well, in terms of the resources, the materials, the activity. You're adapting what needs to be adapted. Your consult. All of this has to do with a lot. In relation to inclusion, it's not just a once-off. I also like to stress that in relation to inclusion, it's not just a once-off. Yes, I'm going to promote inclusion in my classroom this week. No, it has to be continuous all the time. So this is where you're thinking outside the box. You're thinking, you're planning, you're consulting with the parents, you're asking them questions, you're meeting with your co-workers as well. You're thinking about how you're going to promote inclusion in terms of even the materials as well. Let it represent inclusion. For instance, the books, the color, the paints, let all of this represent inclusion. Let the children see that they are well represented. And when they see the consideration, the children in your classroom, so in terms of their strength, their abilities, their background, their religion, you're taking all of this into consideration through their play. And then when the children see this, they see that they are well represented. And this is going to help in terms of their self-esteem, in terms of their self-confidence, and they'll be able to explore. So I hope you've taken note of what inclusion in the early childhood classroom is all about. And I'm going to charge you today as an early childhood educator to ensure that your classroom is inclusive. And if you want more of this video on this channel, what you have to do is subscribe, and not just subscribe. Subscription is bell so that whenever a new video is being dropped on this channel, you'll be the first person to be notified. And until I come your way next time, stay safe and mind yourselves for now. Bye.